Corpus Christi has downgraded its drought restrictions. The founder of the Corpus Christi Veterans Band has died. And the Vice President of the United States visits Brownsville this afternoon. This is South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday, August 4th. For the first time in almost 600 days, the city of Corpus Christi is no longer under Stage 3 drought restrictions. City Manager Peter Zannoni officially declared the downgrading of drought restrictions to Stage 2 during a press conference.
It's been a long time, but we've achieved a 30%, actually greater, western reservoir level.
The east restrictions come after a very rainy July that boosted the combined reservoir levels of Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon to above 30%. Lake Corpus Christi is now at 65% capacity, up 33% in the past week. Under Stage 2 restrictions, lawns can now be watered once every other week. The new projected water emergency date for Corpus Christi is September 2028. The founder of the Corpus Christi Veterans Band, Ram Chavez, has died. He was 80. His family posted the news on Facebook on Monday. Chavez had been in hospice care since last month after doctors discovered his cancer had returned. He served during the Vietnam War as a U.S. Army combat medic with the 199th Infantry Brigade. He was also a longtime educator at several Corpus Christi Independent School District campuses. In 2024, CCISD named Veterans Memorial High School's Band Hall in his honor. In the Rio Grande Valley, Vice President J.D. Vance is visiting the Port of Brownsville. Valley Central News reports that he was scheduled for an event set for noon at the port. And on the note of Brownsville, police arrested a man who robbed $15,000 from a bank on Boca Chica Boulevard Monday. Police say that 32-year-old Dion George James later confessed to the robbery during questioning. His formal arraignment is pending. No injuries were reported. The FBI is also investigating the case. Victoria City Council will meet this afternoon at 5 p.m. at their council chambers. One of the main topics of discussion is a tax rate for fiscal year 2026 to 27. Victoria City Council meets on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. Meetings are live streamed online at victoriatx.gov and on YouTube at Victoria Texas Videos. And Corpus Christi City Council will have their next regularly scheduled meeting next Tuesday, August 11th. This week, they will continue the removal hearings for Mayor Paulette Guajardo on Thursday and Friday. The city of Corpus Christi announced they have completed a far-field model study to assess potential effects of the proposed Inner Harbor seawater desalination plant on the Corpus Christi Bay system. The study was commissioned to evaluate how the facility might interact with the bay before any construction begins. The project team developed a detailed computer model of the bay system that simulates water movement, mixing, and changes in salinity over time. Spheros Environmental conducted the study in collaboration with subcontractors Hazen & Sawyer and DSI LLC. The complete technical report is available online to the public. In state news, Kate Granger was the first Republican woman from Texas elected to the U.S. House. The former Congresswoman was also the first Republican woman to chair the House Appropriations Committee. She died Sunday at 83. KERA's James Hartley reports her legacy is enduring both locally and nationally.
In Congress, Granger represented Texas's 12th district from 1997 until January of last year when she retired. Many saw Granger as a trailblazer for women. Her political career began in Fort Worth, where she was the first woman elected mayor. Former Tarrant County Judge Glenn Whitley said Granger was a public servant through and through, from her time as a teacher to her career in public office.
She always was looking to serve the citizens of Fort Worth, Texas, and I really think, the United States.
During her time as mayor, Granger is credited with lowering the murder rate in the city through economic revitalization, citizen patrols, and creating more activities for young people. Manny Ramirez is the Tarrant County Commissioner for Precinct 4. He said Granger was one of the greatest champions Fort Worth and Tarrant County have ever had in Washington.
I believe she's left a lasting impact on this place, and I believe that we who live here in Tarrant County and Fort Worth and are blessed to be raising families here, we were blessed by her leadership, and I hope that everybody can come together and honor her.
Tarrant County Judge Tim O'Hare echoed that, saying Fort Worth has lost one of its greatest advocates.
This is somebody who dedicated a tremendous number of years to public service.
And Whitley said Granger could always be counted on to do what was best for the people she represented.
She was just an outstanding individual. For many years, she was my representative out in this area. We're going to miss her. But again, when you look back at her record, I think she could put her record up against anybody's.
Granger's involvement wasn't limited to political action. Her support for Texas Wesleyan University prompted the institution to name one of its screen spaces after her, K. Granger Mall. I'm James Hartley.
KERA news reporter Penelope Rivera contributed to this story. A state ban on most forms of THC, the main intoxicating component in cannabis, is already becoming an issue in this year's U.S. Senate election in Texas. Houston Public Media's Andrew Schneider reports the ban took effect last week.
Democratic Senate nominee James Tallarico called the ban, quote, a gift to the cartels, and said the state is going back to the days of prohibition. Tallarico told Houston Public Media measures are necessary to keep THC products out of the hands of minors and to keep smoke shops away from schools. But he argued the ban would simply close legal small businesses and drive the trade back to the black market. The ban applies to all synthetically created THC forms, with the exception of Delta-9 products with less than 0.3% THC by dry weight. Houston Public Media reached out to Republican Senate nominee Ken Paxton for comment, but did not receive a response by airtime. I'm Andrew Schneider in Houston.
And many people who consume caffeine do so through coffee. The latest research says for most adults, up to 5 8-ounce cups of caffeinated coffee per day is safe and appears linked to a lower risk of cardiovascular disease for some individuals. A 2022 study put the limit at 3.5 cups. In this segment of the KERA series Vital Signs, Dr. Srinivas Gudametla, a cardiologist with Texas Health Fort Worth, explains to Sam Baker what might account for the change.
There's what's called a J-curve hypothesis, meaning you don't get the benefit from coffee unless you consume moderate amounts of coffee. Moderate amounts of coffee seems to be sort of that sweet spot right now.
So up to 5 cups of coffee then shouldn't hurt you.
Yeah, you want to do it in the morning hours. Don't drink coffee as much in the afternoon at night because it disrupts your circadian rhythms and therefore it will also alter your sleep pattern. You won't get enough sleep at night. And, we know that cardiovascular health benefits are seen with good sleep.
Does everyone react to caffeine the same way?
No, there is a lot of variation in each individual's, and they are identifying specific genetic factors which affect some people more than others. And there are different variations in the genetic sequence where some people have a greater benefit from coffee versus some people who don't. As well as, of course, you have social and cultural factors and also other behaviors such as exercise and heart healthy behaviors, or for that matter, other medications that can affect the variance of coffee consumption in different people. And so it is not the same for everybody.
Also, the fact, as I mentioned earlier, the study seems to be talking about black coffee consumption. But does it get more dangerous when you're going, let's say, in latte territory?
You actually cancel out the benefits. Adding sugar, flavored syrups, additional dairy products could increase your caloric intake and therefore counteract the potential health benefits associated with coffee itself.
Benefits from coffee?
I think the strongest association with coffee is that it does actually decrease the risk of type 2 diabetes mellitus. The effects on development or progression of coronary artery disease, there may be a slight benefit or it may be neutral. And I think the same applies to risk of heart failure. There is a lower risk of a stroke with coffee consumption. It does potentially reduces the risk of atrial fibrillation. The other thing I want to point out with unfiltered coffees, in general, there is a substance that increases called caffeine, which actually increases the LDL or bad cholesterol. That's the one sort of adverse effect of coffee, but everything else seems to be either neutral or somewhat positive.
Anything else you'd like to add?
The one thing I always like to remind people of is drinking coffee is not the sort of the holy grail. I think it's something that can potentially help, but we all have to keep in mind, a healthy lifestyle, exercise on a regular basis, eat a heart healthy diet, don't partake in other risks such as smoking, drugs or heavy alcohol abuse. I think every aspect of that is very important in terms of heart health. And, they've done studies looking at what are the factors that affect one's overall survival. And number one on the list, and this is actually exceeds genetics even, is healthy lifestyle.
Maintaining that and guidelines here in the study on coffee and caffeine, you should be okay.
You should be okay, absolutely.
Dr. Srinivas Gudimetla is a cardiologist with Texas Health, Fort Worth. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.